Welcome back to English Comfort Zone. It's so good to have you here with us today for another deep dive.
It is great to be back.
I'm Anna.
And I'm Leo.
So today we are tackling a topic that I think is going to make a lot of people feel much better about their social lives. I know looking at this research definitely made me feel better.
I completely agree. Today we're doing a deep dive into silence. Or, well, more specifically, how to react when you just don't have an opinion.
Yes. Oh, we have all been there. Let me set the scene for you. Picture this. You're at a dinner party, or maybe you're just in the break room at work.
Right, just a casual conversation.
Exactly. And everyone's talking, the energy is high.
The conversation is flowing really fast. Maybe they're debating a new movie or some complex news story.
And then suddenly someone turns to you, they look you right in the eye, and they ask, "So what do you think about this?"
The spotlight is on you?
It is on me. And my mind just goes blank.
Nothing.
Completely blank. I realize I have absolutely no opinion on the topic whatsoever.
The dreaded silence.
It's the worst. You feel that little bit of panic rising, especially if English isn't your first language.
Oh, for sure.
You feel like everyone is waiting for this brilliant thing, but you've got nothing.
That is such a common, very human experience, and that's exactly what we're digging into today. We've pulled together some really interesting articles, some philosophy, and even great advice from social forums on what to say in that moment.
And we want to make this super practical for you. We want to give you the actual words and phrases you can use so you never have to feel that awkwardness again.
Exactly. But before we get to the phrases, I think we need to talk about why that moment feels so scary in the first place. Why do we feel like we have to know everything?
That is the big question. When I was looking through the sources, one thing really stood out to me. The pressure to have a hot take.
A hot take.
Yeah, a strong, immediate opinion on everything. The latest movie, a new law, even what kind of pizza is best. We feel like if we don't have a strong opinion, we're, boring.
Or worse, you worry that people will think you're not smart.
Right. I feel like if I say, I don't know, people will just think I'm not paying attention or I'm not intelligent enough to understand it.
But the sources we found actually suggest the complete opposite. There's a concept called intellectual humility.
Okay.
And basically, admitting you don't know something isn't a sign of stupidity at all. It's actually a sign of high intelligence.
Wait, really? So saying I have no idea makes me look smart?
In a way, yeah. Think about it. There's this famous psychological thing called the Dunning-Kruger effect. Have you heard of it?
I think I've seen it mentioned online, but can you break it down for us?
So simply put, it's a cognitive bias where people who know very little about a topic often have the most confidence.
Oh.
They think they know everything because they don't know enough to realize how complicated it actually is.
I have definitely met people like that, the confident idiot.
Exactly. But on the flip side, as you learn more, you start to realize how much you don't know.
Yeah.
You see all the nuance and complexity. So people who are actual experts or just very thoughtful tend to be less confident and more hesitant to state a strong opinion.
That is so reassuring. So that hesitation I feel, that moment where I'm thinking, I don't know enough to judge this, that's actually my brain working correctly.
Precisely. And you're in good company. I mean, going way back here, look at Socrates.
The ancient Greek philosopher, one of the smartest guys in history.
Right. And his famous line was basically, I neither know nor think I know. He was considered the wisest man in Athens because he admitted he didn't know everything.
Wow. If Socrates can admit he doesn't know, I think I can too.
Absolutely.
Oh.
It's healthy. It's being intellectually humble.
I love that. So step one is just relaxing. It's okay not to know, but we still have that dinner party situation.
Right.
Even if I know deep down that I'm being like Socrates, I can't just sit there staring at my plate in silence. I need to say something.
You need a strategy.
Yeah.
And looking through the advice from communication experts, we can break this down into a few clear strategies.
Let's do it. What's strategy number one?
Strategy number one is the simplest, but sometimes the hardest. Radical honesty. We call it the not sure approach.
Okay, honesty. But how do we say it without sounding, dumb? Or like we're not listening?
You don't have to apologize for it. You just state your position. We found a few key phrases. The first one is just, I'm not sure yet.
I'm not sure yet. Sharp. Sweet.
It works great for casual topics.
Right.
Like if someone asks, what did you think of that new song? You can just say, I'm not sure yet.
I like the word yet in there.
It's important, right?
Yeah.
It implies you're still processing. It makes you sound engaged, not checked out.
That's good. It sounds active, like my brain is working on it, not that it's empty.
Exactly. And that leads to the second phrase, which is even more direct. I'm still thinking about it.
I'm still thinking about it. That's a really useful one. It buys you some time.
And it shows you're taking the question seriously. You're not just brushing them off.
Okay, but what about when the topic is really heavy? Like a complex news story I honestly haven't read up on.
That's where you have to be careful not to overclaim. When we pretend to know things to fit in, it usually backfires.
Oh, that's the worst trap to fall into. They always ask a follow-up question.
They always do. So the best phrase here is, I don't know enough to say.
I don't know enough to say. Ooh, that sounds very powerful.
It's very respectable. Imagine you're at work and a coworker asks, what do you think about the new tax regulations?
And I'm just a graphic designer. I would totally panic.
Instead of panicking, you just say, to be honest, I don't know enough to say.
It just shuts down the pressure immediately. It sets a boundary.
And it invites them to explain it if they want to, but it takes the burden of having an opinion completely off of you.
Okay, so that's being honest. But sometimes I want to be a bit more social, I don't want to just stop the conversation.
That brings us to strategy number 2, the pivot, or turning it back to them.
I love a good social trick. How does this work?
Well, there's a basic truth about people. They love talking about themselves.
Oh, absolutely. That is the one topic everyone is an expert on.
And they love sharing their own opinions.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have one, just ask for theirs.
So you just flip the script.
Exactly. Here's a great phrase for this. I've never thought about that. What do you think?
Oh, that is smooth. I've never thought about that. What do you think?
You validate the topic, admit you haven't processed it, and hand the microphone right back.
And usually they're so happy they asked because they wanted to talk about it.
That is so true. They're just looking for an opening.
Another one, if they've already given their opinion and are kind of looking for you to agree, is just, that's an interesting point.
That's an interesting point. It's so neutral. You're not agreeing or disagreeing.
You're just acknowledging. It keeps the conversational ball in the air without you having to do anything with it.
And if you really want to be a star conversationalist, what's the ultimate phrase?
Tell me more about that.
Tell me more about that.
It's a golden key. A good conversationalist isn't the most interesting person, they're the most interested.
If you can make space for others to feel heard, they'll leave thinking, wow, that was a great conversation, even if you barely said a word about your own views.
That takes so much pressure off. I don't have to perform, I just have to listen.
Exactly. Listening is an active form of participation.
Okay, let's switch gears a little. We've talked about big topics, but what about the small stuff? Like, I saw this really interesting thread online about people being too easygoing.
Yes. The I don't care problem.
Where do you want to eat? I don't care. What should we watch? I'm easy. I do this all the time because I think I'm being polite.
But constantly making the other person decide everything can actually be kind of exhausting for them. It's decision fatigue.
So I'm actually making their life harder by being nice.
A little bit. And it can make you seem like you don't really have a personality.
That is definitely not what I want.
So the advice here was to practice having opinions on low-stakes things.
Low stakes meaning
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't matter if I'm wrong.
Exactly. Dinner is not a life or death decision. So the strategy is just pick one. Even if you only kind of care, just pick something.
So instead of I don't care, what do I say?
Try, I'm in the mood for it.
I'm in the mood for. Like I'm in the mood for pizza.
Even if you'd be fine with tacos, just say pizza. It moves things forward. Another one is, I prefer.
I prefer the blue one, or I prefer the morning.
It just trains your brain to stop defaulting to, I don't know, you're building your opinion muscle.
Okay, I want to try this. Let's do a quick rapid fire round. Ask me some random stuff.
You got it. Cats or dogs?
I prefer dogs. Definitely dogs.
Morning or night?
I'm in the mood for the night.
Coffee or tea?
Ooh, I prefer coffee.
See, that was easy. And now I feel like I know you a little better.
And honestly, do I have a deep philosophical reason for that? No. But by stating a preference, we have something to talk about.
Whereas if you'd said, I don't know, the conversation just dies.
Exactly. In those small moments, a small, decisive opinion is like oxygen for the interaction.
Okay, so we have honesty, the pivot, and low-stakes practice. But there's one more category we need to cover, the tricky one.
The uncomfortable questions.
Mm-hmm. The unwanted pressure. This happens a lot at family gatherings, right? Questions like, why aren't you married yet?
Mm-hmm.
Or who are you voting for?
The ones that feel like a trap.
They can. And here, the strategy is about protecting your peace. You don't owe anyone a long explanation. It's about not over-explaining it, but owning it.
I like that mantra. So what's the phrase?
A great way to politely close a topic is, it's hard to say.
It's hard to say.
It's vague, it's true, and it doesn't give them anything to argue with.
When are you going to have kids? It's hard to say.
Exactly. It signals, I'm not getting into this with you right now.
And if you want to be a bit more positive about it, shut it down with a smile.
Then try. I'm just happy with how things are right now.
Oh, that's a mic drop. I'm just happy with how things are right now.
It is very, very hard for someone to argue with your happiness. If they keep pushing, they look like the jerk.
That's such a good point. You shut it down with positivity.
And that leads to a really important mindset for this whole thing. Try not to get offended.
That is hard, though. When someone asks a nosy question, it feels personal.
It does, but 99% of the time, it isn't. Most people are just making small talk. They're awkward, they're just trying to connect, and they're doing a bad job of it.
So they aren't trying to destroy my self-esteem.
Probably not. They're probably just clumsy, not malicious. And if you remember that, you can stay calm, use your phrase, and just move on.
That is really helpful. It keeps us in control of the interaction.
And that's really the thing here, isn't it? Whether you're admitting you don't know, or pivoting, or setting a boundary, you are in control.
I love that. So let's just quickly recap. We started with the idea that it's totally normal and actually smart to not have an opinion.
Yes, intellectual humility, it's a superpower.
Then we gave you strategy 1, be honest. I'm not sure yet, or I don't know enough to say.
Strategy 2, the pivot. I've never thought about that. What do you think?
And strategy 3, practice on the small things. I'm in the mood for pizza. Stop saying I don't care.
And finally, handling that pressure with, it's hard to say, or I'm just happy with how things are.
We have covered a lot of ground.
We have. And, you know, if we connect this back to the bigger picture, we live in a world that is just screaming at us to have an opinion on everything all the time.
It really is.
Social media, the news cycle.
Yeah.
We feel like we need a position on interest rates and celebrity breakups all before breakfast.
It's exhausting.
It is. And in that context, choosing not to have an opinion, choosing to say, I don't know, or I need more time, that is actually an act of rebellion.
An act of rebellion.
It is. It's reclaiming your mental space. You're saving your energy for what actually matters to you.
That makes me feel so much better. It's not that I'm clueless, it's that I'm selective.
Exactly. You're curating your intellectual life, and that's a powerful thing.
So here's our challenge for you. This week, try using just one of these phrases.
Just one. The next time someone asks you about a movie you haven't seen, catch yourself before you try to fake it.
Catch yourself before you do that awkward nod and smile.
You can just say, I don't know what I have to say. See how it feels.
Or when your partner asks what you want for dinner, do not say, I don't care. Say, I'm in the mood for tacos, even if you have to make it up.
You might be surprised at how much respect you gain and how much better the conversation flows.
And you might be surprised at how much better you feel. Less pressure, more connection.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been a really fun deep dive. I feel like I have a whole new toolkit for my next social event.
Me too. I'm actually looking forward to not knowing something so I can use these.
That is the spirit. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
It was a pleasure.
And thank you to everyone listening to English Comfort Zone. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.